I mean, it is because, again, if people with money and influence can barely escape or maybe not escape, what does a regular guy at home do? That's they said, you're going to lose your job, you're going to lose your pension, you're going to lose your ability to possibly see your kids.
That's right. I'm struggling, and you're right. You're completely right. You can have the highest levels of influence. Let me give an example. Let's look at a few easy examples. Who's getting wrecked with the legal system currently? Elon and Trump.
Yeah.
They can't escape this garbage. So you're right. What hope does the common man have? Well, there's only two options. There's God and there's numbers. You need enough people to understand the truth, and you need God, which is why when you talk about how you need everybody to understand the truth, why the people who don't understand the truth and watch the Super Bowl, I find so repulsive. Because I understand they are the ones who are impeding our progress, because they're the ones who are refusing to listen to anything.
For President Trump right now, he just got a fine from in New York, $433 million. I think that happened yesterday. And then $83.3 million for his E. Jean Carroll case. And then 91 other indictments going on. And let's be real. If he was not running for president right now, none of this would be happening.
Correct.
And I don't think anyone can argue that. I don't think anyone thinks that if he wasn't running, all these legal troubles would happen. If you think that and if you believe it, then obviously it is trying to keep people from running. Do you feel like, because you haven't lived in America in a long time, but you speak and you think about American politics often, do you think like you're connected enough to American society being so separated for so long?
I think American culture is world culture to a degree. It's all Western culture. I was born there. So yeah, I do feel connected. I think what happens in America affects the world. Personally, my view on Trump is I'm massively in favor of him. Do I believe he can dismantle and fix the bureaucracy of the system? No. Do I believe he can save the West? No. He can slow it down. However, it would be a culture win for him to win.
Yeah.
It would inspire the culture, and it would inspire patriotism, and it would inspire masculinity, because he's a masculine man. And as a whole, I believe those are the number one weapons against the Matrix. I believe innate, natural, God-given masculinity is how we defend ourselves against the Matrix. If you were to say to me, how do you beat them? I'd say be a man. If all the men were men, this would be a lot harder. PsyOps wouldn't work. Making us scared wouldn't work. Making us cowards wouldn't work. It would all be a much harder thing to do. So I'm praying for Trump. Do I believe they're going to let him win? Well, they're clearly trying to stop it in this democracy. That, you know,
democracy.
Number one democracy of the world. And then there's two scary scenarios, right? There's scary scenario number one, where they don't let him win.
Yeah.
And all of the repercussions of that, and all of the cope you'll see in the Senate from the Republicans who go, this is unacceptable, and then do nothing.
Do nothing.
Of course. So it's just going to be word salad. And then there's the one where they let him win, and he tries his very best, and then eventually he's out of office, and who comes next? Who knows? And especially if he makes things better a little bit for a little while, and then he's out, and then another idiot comes in and it's all wrecked. I feel like it's the last hope. And I don't know what his plans are if he gets in, but unless they're enormous, I don't know if he can stop the decline of the West. And empires come and empires fall. The West is a declining empire. It's on its way out. And then the scary thought of that is, who replaces America as the world leader? And will the world even be better, or will it be worse? You know, or are we going to enter this new, like we discussed earlier, this technological age where AI is the ruler, and there's some server somewhere in Angola in a bunker that controls everything? Who knows? Because usually when an empire falls, usually when a king falls, a new king takes hold. But I think we might be entering a stage of technology where it's not going to be a human that takes control of anything. There'll be humans who perhaps use machines to control everything, and it's only a matter of time till the machines control the humans, and that's what's going to happen. Skynet's coming. And we're toast. And how do you defend yourself against all of these things? Well, I think Darwin said in his book, it's not the strongest of the species that survives, it's the most adaptable. How do you adapt to these changes that are happening in the world? And I like to consider myself a person with solutions. I don't want to be one of the people who just complains and points out what's going to happen without a solution. And the solutions I come to are pretty boring when I say you need to have a bunch of money and important friends and a bunch of visas and a bunch of passports. But it is the primary solution in regards to adaptability. Not many people can go live on Fiji. I could, if I wasn't in this Matrix attack. But that's the point. You get too big, you get in a Matrix attack. But let's say I had my money and I'd shut up, and there's a nuclear war, I can live in Fiji. How? Well, I can get a private plane instantly, and I can go and live there because I have a residence in Fiji. Now, how do you have a residence in Fiji? Like, there's things you can do.
Yeah.
You have to prepare for the worst, which goes back into the question you asked me earlier. Am I paranoid? Probably. And there'll be a day when everyone's like, thank God you were paranoid. It's like, I'm the most paranoid guy. Yeah, perhaps. But that's what preparedness is. But for the common man and the average person, what are the solutions to these problems? I'm open to hearing yours, because unless we talk about people and collectivism and people waking up and to some degree revolution and people understanding that everything's a scam, that's great. But I'm really scared of the new system they build off the back of this broken one. That's what I'm most afraid of.
I mean, I think people want to, especially in America, people want to revert back to kind of how it was, where people felt like they had freedom. Even if it wasn't true or not, at least you felt like you had freedom. And right now, somehow, Trump went from the guy that that seemed to be the extreme guy. He's now the man of the people. He's what the people want. And you can feel it in the vibe and the energy in pretty much everywhere you go. He's become the cool person to support. He's changed the culture, the society. And if Trump wins, then people will feel like the people have won. I loved how you said it's a societal win.
It's a cultural win.
It's a culture win. Because finally, for the first time in many years, it feels like the people have a win. Because we're like yearning for a win. We just keep on getting stomped on over and over again.
100%. Isn't it amazing that in a democracy that the people can feel so disconnected to the leaders? Like, how is this a democratic society? Nobody agrees with any of these leaders.
No.
Who are they? How did they get there? Why do they do the things they do? Who's telling them to do it? Why do they vote how they vote? Nobody's happy with them at all. In any Western nation, not just America, in any Western nation, every democratic nation, everyone's pissed off. And somehow they have all the control and all the power. And then you sit and you start to look into, well, how does a democracy work? Money. I get it now. Money. Well, who has all the money? The elites who are above the government. Okay, well, then it's all a fucking scam from the beginning. It's kind of interesting. I was in Belarus like 5 or 6 years ago. And I couldn't believe that Minsk was cleaner and more beautiful than Bucharest, because I expected it to be kind of like Bucharest, rough around the edges a bit, you know? And it was very clean, very nice, very well organized, perfect pavements, very beautiful city. I was talking to a Belarusian girl, and she was like, well, yeah, you have democracy in Romania. So if they want to fix a road, they have to go to the parliament and discuss fixing the road. And then a contract goes to a company, and then X amount of money gets stolen. And then you go, if Lukashenko drives down the road and there's a hole, and he says, fix that hole, it's fixed. That's it. Now,